When is your vehicle MOT and tax exempt here in the UK? Watch this video. Hello, welcome to RevelatorAlf. I hope you're all well. So, you may have heard that some vehicles can be MOT and tax exempt, road tax exempt that we have to pay here in the UK, and also an annual roadworthiness check, which is called the MOT. You can be exempt from that. So what happens there? Well, there are certain criteria. The vehicle has to be 40 years older or more from the time it was first registered. And also, in terms of the MOT, the annual roadworthiness check, you can be exempt from that if it's older than 40 years, or it's got to be 40 years and then you've got to wait until the next registration cycle, which is in the 1st of April of the following year, to be able to claim that exemption. So in other words, if the anniversary of your bike or your car is on the 1st of August of a particular year, then you've got to wait the 40th year, which will be the 1st of August, whatever it is, but then you've got to wait for the following year, the 1st of April, to claim that exemption. So this is quite simple to do. What you need to do, every time you go to renew your road tax license, in other words, you pay your road duty, you can say, is your vehicle MOT exempt? And you'd say you declare it yes or no. So what makes it MOT exempt? Well, essentially, what it says there on a document, there's a document that you can download as well from the government website. It will say that there should not be any substantial changes. And you're basically claiming that the motorcycle is like a historic motorcycle. It's a historic vehicle. In other words, there can't be any changes, let's say, to the frame. You can't redesign the steering, all that kind of stuff. Now, lots of people, myself included, were a little bit confused by this in terms of, well, I've got a project build here. And I thought, well, actually, whilst I'm not really changing the bike, are the changes that I'm making, are they substantial? So I looked into it and I was a bit surprised by this. So if you put a different engine size into the bike, as long as it's the same kind of engine, in other words, 4 cylinders with another 4-cylinder, a V-twin with another V-twin, then actually that's not classed as a substantial change, even though the cubic inch size of the engine might be completely different. So as long as it's the same kind of engine, then it's absolutely fine. So I think, well, actually, that's exactly what mine is. It's a Kawasaki Z650 frame with a Kawasaki Z750 engine. And that's actually what is written on my registration document. You think, okay, there doesn't seem to be any substantial change. What about removal of the turn indicators? Well, that isn't a substantial change because motorcycles or vehicles, certainly motorcycles before 1986, I believe it is, they can have their turn indicators removed. You don't have to have turn indicators on a motorcycle in this case, but the turn indicator button, as it were, has to be removed. So that's it. So that's what I've done. There are no indicators on this bike and you have to rely on hand signals. So, okay, what else is there that's on this bike that has substantially changed? Well, essentially nothing. So apart from it may look aesthetically different in terms of being a new mudguard on the front, which I've got now, there won't be a rear mudguard in terms of the original style. There's a tail tidy on there. There's a different seat, but essentially there's no substantial changes. So I can claim this, I believe, as an MOT exempt vehicle. Great. So as long as you haven't changed anything to the steering, you haven't changed anything to the frame, anything that would affect the structural integrity of the bike, as long as it's not on a Q plate as well, which we have, which is like its own, you've had to go through its own inspection, and it's got its original registration document, then you're absolutely fine. So what about road tax exemptions? Okay, so with that, that's slightly different. You have to go to a post office. You can't do this online, I believe. And you have to ask for a form that will register your vehicle as a historic vehicle as well. Now, I believe you may also have to call the registration department here in the UK, called the DVLA, to see if that vehicle has to be registered or re-registered as a historic vehicle as well. So that's how you get away from the paying the road tax as well. Now, for this vehicle, I've already checked, it's about £60, you know, for 6 months, let's say, or £90 for a year. It's not a great deal of money, in all fairness. So you think, well, okay, I might pay that. But at the same time, you know, if I wanted to change the status of this vehicle to make it a historic vehicle, I kind of think, yeah, okay, I could do that. But in my mind, I don't think it is a historic vehicle because of the changes that have already been made to it. I just don't think I should be claiming that. So from my point of view, I'm going to be paying the road tax on this vehicle, on this motorcycle. But what I will be doing is claiming the MOT exemption. So that's exactly what you need to do. You need to see whether the vehicle that you have is over 40 years old. Are there any substantial changes? You can download the PDF from the government website and it will tell you what the criteria is. If there are no substantial changes, regardless of any kind of modifications that you've made, if there are no substantial changes according to that document, you can claim the MOT exemption based on it being a historic vehicle. Then you can determine whether you want to register the vehicle as a historic vehicle to get the tax exemption as well. And to get the tax exemption, you'll have to go to a post office to get the historic status exemption form, which you'll have to ask for. So there we go. That's how you get MOT and tax exempt on vehicles here in the UK. All you have to do is insure the bike or insure the car and away you go. Now, there is one major issue here with this, in that once you declare that it's MOT exempt, you are 100% responsible for making sure that the motorcycle, the car, is in roadworthy condition. It must be in roadworthy condition. So if you don't know anything about motorcycles or car maintenance or anything like that, I would probably still go and get your MOT. In fact, it doesn't hurt to go and get it MOT checked anyway, because it's another person doing it, another pair of eyes looking over your work, as it were. So if you're not mechanically minded, I wouldn't go for the MOT exemption unless you've got a mechanic that is looking at your bike or your car, as it were. So you must make sure that it's roadworthy condition at all times. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you like what I do here, just keep on watching the videos and I'll catch you again. Bye now.